Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and this time this is the Build-A-Figure, the Venompool BAF of the Venom Wave 2 Hasbro Marvel Legends series. So I have all the figures in the wave lined up, and coincidentally, that is the order in which I rank the figures. So Venom number 1, Phage number 2, Carnage number 3, Venomized Ghost Spider number 4, Morbius number 5, and Venomized Miles Morales number 6. I'm not going to include the Build-A-Figure because when I rank them, I never include the Build-A-Figure because the Build-A-Figure should always be the best figure. It isn't always, I get it, but should always be the best. And I think this one is going to be the best because this one's probably going to be Build-A-Figure of the year. So we are going to piece it together. I got all of the pieces here. Let's start with the torso. And you know what? Let's go with the head, placing the head on there. So that shouldn't give us too many issues, right? Already, that hinge wants to work too well. Okay, so the head's on there. That looks pretty good so far. So if the torso itself is going to be barely in the frame there, it's going to be tough to get the rest of them. So let's go with the legs. This one has an R, so this one is our right leg. So we're going to just slip that on there like so. And as you can see how tall he's going to be, he will be out of frame. And of course, Venom kind of fell over there. Let's get the left leg here. We're going to port that right on in there. So that is already looking mighty, mighty beefy. So we're going to get the arm. So this is our left arm. Pop it right on in place. That damn hand! That's going to drive me crazy, man. These little ass pegs for these hands. They keep falling off with this damn... Hold on. Let me see. I'm just going to force that in there a little bit. We're going to pop that hand right on in there. Hopefully that holds. Here, let's get the right arm snapped into place like so. As you can see, he is very, very top heavy, so we'll kind of pan up a little bit right now. And then the next piece is going to be... Oh, that hand is going to piss me off. So the next one is going to be the sheath and how this works. So it just kind of... That's weird. It just sits and rests onto this harness piece there. What? Hold on. Stand by. That's going to be weird, so we'll have to take a closer look at that. But here is the Build-A-Figure, and he looks amazing, even with only one damn hand, because the one won't stay on because of this bracelet piece right here. It's not really a bracelet, right? It's like a chain. What's like a handcuff kind of thing. So it sits on there, but it just sits. Maybe if I just push it onto the arm a little bit more, maybe that'll help and I can get the hand to peg in there and stay. No, look at that. It just keeps pulling right on out. So I may have to do something off screen for that, but man, this Build-A-Figure is looking awesome. Okay, and there is the Venompool Build-A-Figure in all his glory. I have the sheaths attached to his harness in the back and everything. So I was trying to switch out some of the arms. So the problem that I am having is that peg just will not stay in that right arm. So it just so happens to be the damn arm that comes with the least favorite figure in the wave, the Venomized Miles Morales. So I think I'm gonna have to get a new one because this thing, it's just gonna be impossible. They don't peg in. So that hole for the arm must be a little too big or too open, and that these tiny little pegs do not force in there. They just kind of slip in and then they stay in basically, but with little movement they're just gonna fall right on out. So mine is defective. That is not something that should happen with all of your guys's. I hope it is definitely one that is on mine. So whether the katana or sword holding hand or the open hand, not gonna matter. It's just gonna keep falling out. I don't really have the problem with the right arm. As you can see, it's nice and sturdy and doesn't pop out on its own. So there's that. Now the sheath, here's the tricky part of the sheath, because it doesn't just peg or port in, it actually kind of wraps around the harness pieces. You can kind of see there. Let me pan up and zoom in a little bit. So right there, it just kind of attaches to that piece. So it's very difficult to try and force it on there. You can pull it right on out. You can see kind of how it's grooved. And then it has a little bit of a lip there because it's going to kind of wrap around and catch on there. Now it's difficult to do. Paul Lutz on Instagram, he actually gave me the heads up on this. So the harness at the belt, it detaches right there. So then you can kind of float and move this around. So to help you out when attaching the sheath, as you can see there, you now have the freedom to like get your hand in there and kind of force it on so it attaches into place and it holds. So that is how you get that on there. So if you guys get your Build-A-Figure, you're gonna have some issues with it. That's how you get it on there without having to worry about it. And as I was doing that, of course, the damn right hand fell on out. So there he is. So let's get a better look at all the cool details and everything of this figure. Okay, so looking at his head, it just looks incredible. I don't know how well the texture is really coming through, but kind of like the movie Deadpool figure that we got. If you guys have it already, see the texture of the suit? We get that same texture on the suit of this Venompool, on just the red. Now, I forgot to mention that this Venompool is based on the Contest of Champions mobile game, Venompool. Venompool in the comics has a very different look to it. So this is, again, this is the Contest of Champions version, which is arguably, I would say, a better look and makes for a much cooler action figure. But he just looks absolutely incredible. And I think popular enough that Hot Toys is making a Venompool figure as well. And that thing looks like god-awful and beastly, not awful, but just like incredible. He's just massive and everything. So it looks really good. The teeth are all painted nicely, spaced out, but still look really good. We get a purple tongue, a little bit of purple in there. White for the eyes, but what's really nice is you kind of get these like silver staples throughout where the red meets the black, including over the eyes on there, and that's painted all nice and clean and looks really good. Really like the way that came out looking. Then throughout the rest of the figure, the harness piece is all brown. We get a little bit of silver in the buckle there. It's the same on the back where the sheath attaches. There was some silver. The belt buckle looks really good. We get this kind of the shiny red in there and that white for the Deadpool eyes on that logo. All looks really good. Some nice silvers for these buckles there and those staples. All look really good. We get this kind of bronzish color for these restraint pieces that are there. Now I haven't played the game, so I don't know the full story. I read up on it a little bit. So the Beyonder, this was like his champion, so I'm sure he keeps them restrained at times, and maybe Venompool breaks free or whatever it is. So those all look really good, as you can see there. And again, my hand just keeps popping out. So no matter what I do, I can even, remove that handcuff, that restraint piece, try and pop that hand in there, but it just doesn't hold. So that's really unfortunate. So now let's zoom out for his articulation. Okay, so Venompool's articulation, looking down is a little bit of a challenge because he basically moves and slides his head so he can actually look up. But again, it's that looking down where, you can scoot it forward, but it still looks like he is looking kind of straight out. You're not going to really get a whole lot of pivot in there, but you do get the full rotation, of course. Arm only goes out that far, so not a whole lot, but you do get a full rotation of course. Oh, that damn hand. Upper bicep swivel there. Let's do the elbow bend on this one since I have less arm to grab. Single jointed elbow, so you're only going to get 90 degrees on that elbow. Wrist swivels, and it does have a hinge, so the open hands have the standard hinge, but the hands for holding the sword have that horizontal hinge, that roll of the dice type motion, as you can see there. That's really good, and I knocked off the damn sheaths. He has an ab crunch, so he can crunch forward that much, which isn't a whole lot. He can go back a little bit, as you can see there. He does have a waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart, which isn't a whole lot, but he's kind of a big dude. He can kick forward that much. You have the upper thigh cut where the leg comes together. You have a double jointed knee, like so. There is no calf swivel or boot swivel. The foot, this is kind of stiff. Foot hinges down that much, hinges up a little bit, but you got to get that restraint piece kind of out of the way. Ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. This guy's kind of beefy and heavy too, so moving them around is a little bit of a challenge. I'm gonna have to get those sheaths back on there, but let's take a closer look at those swords while we're at it. Okay, so taking a closer look at the sheath, it's just all in brown, and again, that's how it attaches there. And I will have to reattach it again, but the swords come out, and they're just done in a gray plastic, but it's not that super cheap looking gray plastic that ends up being kind of translucent. This is decent with a little bit of shine. It is not a silver paint, but that does look good. The hilt is all black, as you can see there. And I forget what this piece is called between the hilt and the blade, but that's very rubbery, as you can see. But it's done nicely. So the swords do look pretty good. They look like they've had a lot of damage to them, which I kind of like when they do stuff like that in the sculpt of it. It's not just a clean, smooth blade. And the two swords are the same, as you can see there. Although, actually, there might be some differences, because this one has a 1 sculpted on it right there. It says 1 right there. This one says 2 right there. So it's kind of interesting. They look the same to me. Not sure what the difference actually is, because I'm looking at the blades and the sculpt, and we have the same kind of markings in the same spots. So why 1 is 1 and 1 is 2, I'm not really sure, because you know what? They are the same sword. I don't see any differences in the sculpt and molding of the blades. That's kind of interesting. And then to sheath them back up, you just port the swords right on in, like so, and there you go. Here's something that's kind of nice. You can kind of move his arm back where it looks like he's actually going to be pulling the sword out of that sheath. So that is really cool. So I'm going to show you guys, you know, when you swap out the hands and you have the hand to hold the sword, kind of how it is. So listen closely. So it actually made a pop sound. So this one fits in there nice and tight. You know, I'm looking at it, the hole definitely looks a little bit smaller. It's, you know, it's hard to tell exactly. You know, these bands, these restraints, these cuffs are gonna fall off, so you just pop them right back on. You get the hand, and you pop hand. That one didn't pop in, but it actually pushed in there, so it fits pretty snug. Now these hands are still pretty tight, so you're gonna kind of have to force those swords into the hand, but he can hold it like so. Okay, so for some side-by-side comparisons, we have the Juggernaut Wave Deadpool, the X-Men 20th Anniversary Deadpool 2 movie figure, and Venompool in the front. So we have the comic look with the movie texture to it, and just looks absolutely incredible. I'm going to call it now. This more than likely will be the Build-A-Figure of the year. It is just too awesome. Yes, my right arm has some problems, but overall, the figure is just absolutely fantastic. The size of it is great. The sculpt of it is amazing. Just looks really, really good. So we'll see how he looks next to some Venom figures. So when Deadpool and the Venom symbiote kind of come together, which isn't the first time, right? There's the Back in Black Deadpool, which I didn't bring out here. It's just a Bucky Cap Deadpool in black and white. It's kind of the same thing as basically in the comics. If the Venom symbiote actually attached to Deadpool before he went to Spider-Man, that was there. And I think the joke was that, you know, that's why Venom was kind of crazy, right? So here now we have the movie Venom figure, and he is damn near the same height, but the Venompool edges him out just a little bit, but pretty close in height. Okay, so I'll give you my final thoughts on this figure. Excellent build of the figure, great character to choose. Definitely one I did not see coming. I didn't think that we would get this Venompool figure, but I'm very pleased that we did. It is amazing. It does suck that my right arm sucks, because those hands really won't peg in there and will fall off extremely easily. Hopefully your guys' don't have that problem. Again, mine is the one that comes with the Venomized Miles Morales, which is my least favorite figure of the wave. So that's kind of the biggest bummer, you know, that it happens to be that one that it has the problem. But I'm curious, if you guys have this figure already or you pick it up later on, please let me know if you guys are experiencing that same problem, or if it is in fact just mine where I have that QC issue. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But I am very pleased. I haven't played the Marvel Contest of Champions game in a long time. I played it very, very little and thought it was just okay. But you guys let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the game if you play it. It seems pretty cool. I think the character selection just is incredible, and I think that's kind of the best part that I've seen, or from what I remember. It's just crazy amount of characters, but Future Fight had crazy amount of characters too, but it didn't seem like that game was all that as popular. Contest of Champions seemed like that's the one that Marvel really wanted to push for, but hey, we get figures like this based off of characters from the game, so that's cool. Can't complain in that sense. You guys let me know how you rank the wave. Again, mine was number 1, Movie Venom, number 2, Phage, number 3, Carnage, number 4, the Venomized Ghost Spider, number 5, Morbius, number 6, the Venomized Miles Morales. If I included the Build-A-Figure, he would absolutely be the number 1 spot because he is just amazing. When I do the ranking for 2020, don't be surprised if he is on top for the Build-A-Figure of the year. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.